Mr. Speaker. And we are saying that rightfully that this document should have had our input, and it's irresponsible for the other members not to have any input into the document. And Mr. Speaker, in closing, I want to say to the government, yes, we as a Labour Party government did not produce a final document, but we had all the workings in place. We had a draft, and as a Labour Party opposition, we had a youth National Youth Symposium, where we invited members of the opposition to come and to participate. We invited you all. Didn't we invite them?
Yes.
And they didn't come. They didn't come. Youth is not partisan. Youth is not, yes, Mr. Prime Minister. Yes. You know, you all say it's not political, but I want to crave your indulgence, Mr. Speaker, and look at the preface on page 4, the second paragraph. With your permission, I read it. In 2004, when the United Progressive Party took office, there was a surge of interest in national youth development. The new administration, keeping to its promise and agenda for change regarding its commitment to the development of youth, quickly set aside establishing the Department of Youth Affairs. This new agency charged with the responsibility of national youth development immediately set the formulation of a national youth policy. And then you're telling me, Mr. Speaker, that but you're saying it's not politics. Look at the preamble. Look at the preamble in your resolution. The first 2 paragraphs, Mr. Speaker, of the resolution is political, attacking the opposition. And if you read it, Mr. Speaker, with your permission, whereas over the past 15 years, much resources and energies have been dedicated to the formulation of a national youth policy without yielding any significant tangible results. Can you imagine that? Look at the word. Attacking us. Is that called for? We have a resolution here. You say you have a serious document to table before Parliament, and in the first paragraph, in the preamble to your resolution, is attacking the opposition without yielding any significant tangible results. And whereas true to its campaign promise, so it's campaign, it's politics, it's election, whereas true to its campaign promise of youth participation and development, the UPP government has mandated that the Department of Youth be restructured and charged. You didn't have to use that type of wording, Mr. Prime Minister. The language is totally uncalled for. Totally uncalled for. Mr. Speaker, winding up, this issue is very dear to my heart. The member for St. John City West touched on it, but I'm also going to touch on it in my conclusion, because many of the young people across this country, and in the St. Peter's constituency in particular, have been affected adversely by the UPP's arbitrary decision to stop the Land for Youth program, Mr. Speaker. The ALP government, Mr. Speaker, made 4,000 lots of 8,000 square feet available to youths of this country. I have many youths in my constituency who have paid the deposit of their $1,000 and their $1,500 to the Antigua and Barbuda Development Bank since 4.5 years now. And they have not been able to either get back their money, Mr. Prime Minister, their title to their land, or they have not been able to be told anything by the Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Member for All Saints East and St. Luke. You cannot have those young people, money is sitting in the Antigua and Barbuda Development Bank in certain instances for 4 years and have not given them back. And all you've said to us, you've come to this house and say, oh, it is discriminatory, it is unconstitutional for us to give young people. That is the statement that the member for All Saints East and St. Luke, one looking Hansard, he told this house that after 3 months of being in office. After 3 months in being in office, he said to this honorable house, he said that it's discriminatory and that they have legal advice that is unconstitutional. unconstitutional to give young people an advantage, a leg up. To buy land, a piece of their rock in their own country at a reasonable, at a discounted rate of $2.50 per square foot, where we only asked them to put in 5% deposit. We gave them a maximum, Mr. Speaker, of 10 years to pay, an interest rate of 4% per annum, and we asked them for a meager $190 a month. What is wrong with a program like that? I am beseeching the member for St. John's Wool West. I am begging you and imploring you to revisit this Land for Youth program. It is the best program that the Antigua Labour Party ever introduced into this country. And you agree with me? How can you, as Prime Minister, a man who says you care for the people from the ghetto, from the underprivileged, who grew up as an underprivileged young person, how can you, Mr. Member for St. John's Wool West, Mr. Prime Minister, agree to this, abandon this program and disempower and disenfranchise those young people? And I'm saying that those young people don't want back the money, they want the land, because they'll take the money and they'll go and spend it on motor car or spend it on entertainment. They want the land. They want the land. We had earmarked lands east and west of Pierce Village. You all take up the lands and give them back to state insurance. We took them away from state insurance to give to young people. And we agreed to give state insurance lands of equal value and equal acreage elsewhere. A playing field in Fidges Creek. I mentioned it to you all the last time I was in this honourable house. That was earmarked, and I'm sorry the Honourable Attorney General is not here, because he has sat on the Fidges Creek Residents Association for many years. And we earmarked and had a cabinet decision for playing field for the young people in Fidges Creek. They have no sporting facilities. And what has the Ministry of Lands and Agriculture done? Take those same lands and cut it up and sell it to persons that are not even from Fidges Creek. They're not even from the area. I don't want to call some of the names, but very prominent, elitist business friends of the UPP, in being able to buy those very lands that were earmarked for a national park for the young people in Fidges Creek. I want you to address that, Mr. Member for St. John's Wool West. I asked since the last sitting of Parliament. I raised it in this house. It was unacceptable. It is not good enough to say that we have a national youth policy. Yes, it's great. And I commend the participants and the contributors for the hard work and the dedication. But let us start walking the walk. We can't be criticizing the young people for all the crime and the gun shooting and all the lawless behavior, and we are not showing that we are doing something for them. Sports, Mr. Prime Minister, sports is the greatest asset that we can give our young people as recreation, to build their minds and mature them. To build their minds and mature them. This Land for Youth, give them a stake in their country. Let them feel, Mr. Prime Minister, that they're able to have an advantage over ones that were able before them to have lands at peppercorn rates. What is wrong? What is wrong if we set aside 500 or 1,000 or 2,000 acres of land in this country and say this is for our young people? We're going to cut it up in 8,000 square feet lots. We're going to give them 10 years to pay 4% per annum. And I want to compliment you. You're a man of vision, Mr. Member for St. John's City West. You were the minister at the time in charge of the Antigua Barbuda Development Bank. And you piloted this Land for Youth program. And I'm saying and I'm promising those young people out there, once we are elected into office, which we will be, that this Land for Youth, we will designate at least a very minimum of 2,000 acres of land. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for St. Peter.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I listened very keenly just a while ago, Madam Speaker, to the Honourable Member for St. John's Wool East. And while on one hand I'm obligated to commend the UPP government for lowering the CST on this schedule basket of items, Madam